on the set that day. And it was just really handy having him there because you wouldn't have to go through all these like levels of bureaucracy and waiting. You wouldn't be waiting for 20 minutes to get an okay to say something in a line. He'd turn to you and be like, yeah, you're right. So there is that kind of collaboration eventually, but to begin with, it's very much, this is your character, these are the rules his religion, creed, sect, whatever you want to call it, follow. These are the things you need to obey. And then you also got to remember that he's now left that. So the things he's learning, the things he's like trying to understand now will change him ultimately, as they change anyone. You know, I'm a different person than the person that flew out from Australia to LA to start his first, big job on Star Trek. I'm a very different person, and Eleanor is a very different person to the person that we found at the start of episode 4.
Thank you. Out of all your projects, not just Picard, but everything you guys have done to date, what has been the most difficult scene that you've had to film and why? Or it could be on stage.
Outside of Picard.
It can be both.
Oh.
Anything.
But if you
go.
So the last movie I did was Fantasy Islands, currently out in cinemas. Go watch it. Cheeky little plug. Yeah, very subtle. So I was in makeup. I was in full to head-to-toe prosthetics, burn makeup, and it took about 4 hours in the makeup chair to do. And I'd say that was probably the most challenging thing in my life because we did it in Fiji. That sounds nice, but it's really boiling hot. And I had like packs of ice in my suit, and it was just constantly sweating. And I think the longest day of me, and I'm not talking about me starting in the makeup chair, I'm talking about me being fully in the prosthetics to me being cut out. I think it was like 23 hours in prosthetics. So that was probably the most like difficult day of my life. And I flew home the next day too. So I found out I got Star Trek 2 days prior, and I was like, man, the prosthetics better not be like this. And they weren't. So I was very lucky, but that was probably like the biggest challenge for me. And being able to act and show like any facial movement or recognition whatsoever without tearing my skin or the glue off was a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry. I'm gonna have to say the first scene where I meet Picard was probably one of the hardest scenes I've ever had to do, just because mentally that was my first day filming, and I was so nervous working across Patrick Stewart and also having to basically be screaming at Patrick Stewart is also really scary. And yeah, it was one of those moments where I still didn't know a lot about my character. There was a lot that was in the dark for me, and trying to hold your ground opposite such a legend, it can be really nerve-wracking when you feel like you don't know everything. But that's the beauty of it as well, is the fact that I felt like I didn't know anything, and that's so scary when you feel like you're with someone who knows everything. But in the end, he was so amazing at making sure that I felt comfortable and also telling me like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing either. And he's like, at 79 years old, you're still learning, you're still figuring it out, and you're still as nervous, you're still as eager to learn. And that really made me feel so much better, just having him there. And there was a moment where we had been trying all these different takes because I think all of us were trying to figure out exactly where Daj was in this moment, trying to figure out how activated she was, how scared she was, and so we were all figuring it out. And we finally got to this one take where we were all like, okay, this is the one, and then an airplane starts flying overhead. So we had to hold, and I'm like there shaking and crying, and that's at the point where Picard grabs Daj's hand, and he had my hand, and they said, hold. And I was like, oh, God damn it. And I'm just like standing there, but he just kept holding my hand and kept just looking right in my eyes, and for like 45 seconds waiting for this plane to pass, and it just made me feel so much better. And that's just the kind of person he is.
That is such a beautiful, beautiful story. That's amazing. There's so many people who would love to be in your position as actors and who want to be in the business. What advice do you have for someone who would like to pursue a career in acting?
I'd say no one's path is the same. So if you're looking at anyone's career being like, okay, I want to emulate that, or okay, this is obviously like the process of getting into like film and television, I can guarantee you it's not. Everyone's journey is different. I also would say don't compare yourselves to anyone, because that's ultimately what will get you a job, your uniqueness and the things that make you you. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what I have to say as well. I feel like you are comparing yourself to other people's highlights of their life, like what you see on social media and what you see in their in the movies that they've done. You're seeing the best parts of their life, or what they want you to see as their best parts, and so you compare yourself to that. But and then you try to make yourself like this other person, or try to change. Maybe you try to change who you are, and that, in my opinion, is going to be the most boring thing to watch. You trying to be someone else when you are the most interesting version of yourself. You are the person that people want to see because they've never seen you before, and no one can do what you do. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's such a good point. Yeah, definitely. You can clap because it's very well said.
Clap for me.
Actors like clapping. It's a good point, though. What you see on social media is not reflective of someone's life. I read a really interesting thing about this influencer who did a story about her going to Bali, and she was actually at IKEA. And she did all these pictures. Yeah, she did all these pictures, and everybody's like, oh, it looks amazing. So this tropical paradise. And she's like, just kidding, I was at IKEA. So you really can't believe anything you see anymore, sadly. If you had to wrap up what Star Trek means to you at this moment in your life, 6 episodes in that have aired after one season, what would it be?
I mean, at the moment, Star Trek's my life. I mean, growing up, it was entertainment. I don't think I was old enough, though, to kind of fully absorb the message that it was delivering, It wasn't, and I can honest to God say this, it wasn't until the J.J. Abrams movies that I started being like, okay, I need to rewatch this show because the movies are okay, but they're not as good as the TOS movies.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
Yeah, more applause. So I'd say, before it was entertainment, and now it's my life, and I couldn't choose a better life, I think, than Star Trek.
Yeah, I'd have to say, if I were to sum it up, it would be just the beginning. Feels like
ominous.
Yeah, well, no, but just I think we are just scraping the surface of what Star Trek means to us. I mean, it already means so much. In the fact that, hey, this is like one of my first big jobs, and this has given me so many amazing experiences, but there's only just endless amounts more to come of meeting people who love the show, and of getting to explore new sides of our own characters, new sides of Star Trek itself. And so, yeah, it just feels like it's just the beginning.
I love that. Well, it is the beginning of your Star Trek journey. It is the end of this panel, though, I'm sorry to say. Evan and Isa, you guys have been amazing. Did you guys enjoy your time? You guys are here all weekend, right? Okay, so make sure you go say hi downstairs, tell them your Picard story and your love of Trek, and thank you guys so much. One more big round of applause for Evan and Isa.
Hosted by Rebecca and Brooke. You can find us at facebook.com/PicardCast, on twitter.com @ThePicardCast, or email us at picardcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and boldly go where no one has gone before.